Speed and Guian's Deep Dive podcast is an official podcast made by Speed and Guian with the voice made from Google's Notebook LM. Do not reproduce our podcast without permissions from the owner.
Welcome to the Speed and Guian's Deep Dive podcast. I want you to picture something. You know, usually when you finish like a massive, sprawling video game,
Oh, yeah.
you put down the controller, you watch the credits roll, and you feel this deep sense of finality. Like the boss is defeated, the world is saved, and it's over.
Right, you get that rare sense of closure.
Yeah.
The story is sealed. It's a completed chapter, which is honestly, it's incredibly rare in modern storytelling.
Exactly. You can finally go outside.
Right.
But imagine you boot up that exact same game like 7 years later,
Okay.
and suddenly the developers have patched in just 4 extra minutes of gameplay.
Wow.
And those 4 minutes completely change the context of your hard-won victory.
Mm.
Suddenly, your win feels like it might have actually been a massive mistake.
It immediately turns an ending into a beginning. It's a retroactive cliffhanger.
Right. You aren't just revisiting the game. You are being forced to reevaluate every single thing you just experienced through a completely new lens.
Okay, let's unpack this because that is exactly what we are looking at today. We are taking a deep dive into the massive September 25, 2026 theatrical re-release of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
They've officially retitled it Avengers Endgame Encore. And we've spent a week, going through AMC and Fandango ticketing data. We're reading interviews with the directors and diving into some incredibly detailed fan analysis on Reddit to figure out what this event actually is. Because, on the surface, it sounds like a cash grab.
It does. It really does sound like a cash grab at first glance.
Right, but underneath it's something much more complex.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely not just a standard anniversary screening where they, throw the old file on a projector and call it a day.
No.
The studio is deploying a very deliberate, multifaceted strategy here. It's touching on narrative, technology, and quite frankly, sheer box office dominance.
So our mission today is to figure out why a 7-year-old movie is returning to theaters in such a massive way. We need to separate the confirmed facts from the wild rumors about its new footage.
And there are a lot of rumors.
So many rumors. And we're going to explore the brilliant and honestly maybe a little messy business strategies linking this re-release to December's upcoming tentpole, which is Avengers Doomsday. But to do that, we really have to start with the actual runtime.
Exactly. We really need to establish what this Encore version actually contains before we can analyze, why it looks different and how they are selling it to the public.
So looking at the AMC Theaters listing, Endgame Encore has a runtime of 185 minutes.
Right.
The original 2019 cut was exactly 181 minutes. So we are talking about a grand total of 4 new minutes, and I have to push back on this right out of the gate.
Go for it.
Is this really just like a developer dropping a tiny 4-minute DLC for a 7-year-old game just to make the new sequel make sense? Like, can 4 extra minutes truly alter the legacy of a 3-hour epic?
It sounds minimal, right? Almost negligible.
4 minutes is nothing.
But in the context of narrative real estate, 4 minutes is actually an eternity.
Really?
Yeah, think about how much story can be conveyed in a standard 2-minute movie trailer.
Oh, that's true.
Now, double that. What's fascinating here is how those specific minutes are being utilized. If you read co-director Joe Russo's recent interview, he doesn't call this a deleted scene.
Right, he used a very specific phrase.
He calls it a critical companion story.
A critical companion story.
Yes. He explicitly stated that this footage is designed to uniquely bridge the events of Endgame directly into the narrative of Avengers Doomsday.
And Doomsday, which is hitting theaters this December, is an absolute juggernaut because it features Robert Downey Jr. returning.
Which is huge.
But he isn't playing Tony Stark. He's playing the iconic villain, Dr. Doom.
Precisely. And in the recent teasers for Doomsday, Doom makes a very pointed mention of a stolen life in relation to the Avengers.
A stolen life.
Yeah. The narrative being built across these press releases and teaser trailers implies that the Avengers time-traveling time heist back in the original Endgame is the actual catalyst for Dr. Doom's rise to power.
I see. So when they went back in time to get the Infinity Stones to defeat Thanos, they broke something else.
Exactly.
They aren't just tacking on an extra post-credit scene for a cheap laugh. They are fundamentally changing the inciting incident of the new movie.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this 4-minute edition retroactively reframes the hero's ultimate victory in Endgame.
Wow.
It turns their greatest triumph into the inciting incident for the multiverse saga's greatest threat.
That is so crazy.
The Avengers thought they were saving the universe, but this new footage suggests their reckless manipulation of time actually created the exact conditions for Doctor Doom to emerge.
That is wild. But I'm looking at this from the perspective of a regular moviegoer. 4 minutes of news story is a cool hook. But is that really enough to justify asking audiences to sit in a theater, pay premium ticket prices, and watch a 3-hour movie they've already streamed like a dozen times on Disney+?
The big ask.
It is. Marvel has to know that a 4-minute DLC isn't enough of a value proposition.
Which brings us to the visual side of things, because they haven't just added 4 minutes.
No, they haven't.
They've gone back and completely overhauled the original 181 minutes.
They absolutely have. And it's a visual overhaul that fans noticed almost immediately when the Encore trailer dropped online. The contrast was impossible to miss.
The side-by-side comparisons were flooding my feed all week.
Oh, everywhere.
Now, to give some context, the 2019 version of Endgame was famously criticized for looking kind of flat, muddy, and desaturated.
Very desaturated.
Especially during that massive final battle sequence in the crater of the Avengers compound. It was just brown and gray.
It was a very common, very vocal complaint. To understand why it looked like that, you have to look at the reality of modern VFX.
Back in 2018 and 2019, the visual effects houses were under a massive time crunch to meet a hard release date.
Which is always the case with these huge movies.
Exactly. When you are rushing to render literally thousands of CGI characters, lighting is often the first thing to suffer.
Why is that?
Because complex, dynamic lighting takes immense computing power. It takes forever to render. So the original color grading made everything look like a gray-brown silhouette against a hazy, uniform background. It was a functional necessity to get the movie out on time.
Okay. But fast forward 7 years, rendering technology has leaped forward, and they've had all the time in the world to fix it.
Right.
Because the Encore trailer shows a film that is brighter, warmer, and significantly more saturated.
The visual changes are incredibly striking. I mean, Thanos is no longer a dusty grayish purple.
He looked so washed out before.
He did. He is suddenly a distinct, vibrant comic book purple. And when Scarlet Witch uses her chaos magic, it isn't just a red effect painted on her hands.
Oh, the lighting actually reacts.
Yes, it actually casts bright red light onto the metallic wreckage around her. It grounds her in the environment.
Yeah, and the smoky gray haze behind Spider-Man when he's holding the gauntlet has been completely replaced by this vibrant, terrifying orange firestorm. It looks fantastic.
It really does.
But I have to ask,
Yeah.
is changing the color grading years later just George Lucas-style special edition meddling?
Oh, the classic debate.
Right, because we all remember the backlash to Han shooting first or adding CGI aliens into background scenes in Star Wars. Are they just messing with a classic because the technology allows them to? Or is this a genuine, necessary glow-up?
That is the eternal debate whenever a director revisits their work. But what's fascinating here is that this regrade isn't merely an artistic course correction or a belated apology for the muddy CGI of 2019.
It's not.
No. If you look at the business moves happening simultaneously, this visual upgrade is a highly deliberate, calculated showcase for a brand new theatrical format that Marvel is launching with this exact release.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because the visual upgrade is a means to an end.
Exactly.
They didn't just wake up and decide Thanos needed to be purpler for artistic integrity.
Right.
They did it to sell a proprietary theater experience. And this whole new format was born entirely out of a scheduling conflict, right?
Yes, this is the birth of Infinity Vision. And the mechanics of how it came to be are a perfect example of Hollywood problem solving.
So let's break this down. The marketing for Encore is heavily pushing Infinity Vision. This is a new premium large format, or PLF, certification.
Right.
It promises massive screens, dual laser projection for super bright images, and a premium immersive audio mix. But if you're a studio, why go through the headache of creating your own format when IMAX and Dolby already exist?
Well, according to the industry reports, it's because Marvel lost the IMAX screens.
They lost them.
For December 2026, the IMAX theaters are booked solid for Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 3. Marvel literally got locked out of the biggest screens in the world for their biggest movie of the year, Avengers Doomsday.
That is insane to think about, Marvel getting locked out.
It is. And in the blockbuster ecosystem, premium screens are absolutely critical. That is where the highest profit margins live. A standard ticket might be $15, but a premium ticket is $25.
Right. It's a huge jump.
If you can't have IMAX, you have to create an alternative that audiences perceive as equal to or better than IMAX. Otherwise, you're leaving millions of dollars on the table.
But how does a movie studio just invent a theater format out of thin air? I mean, they don't own the movie theaters.
It's essentially a brilliant branding exercise built on existing infrastructure. Major theater chains like AMC and Regal, they already have auditoriums with high-end 4K laser projectors and premium sound systems.
Right, things they usually brand themselves, like AMC Prime or RPX.
Exactly. Marvel is stepping in and essentially creating a badge of approval, similar to how THX certification worked back in the day.
Oh, I remember that.
They are telling theaters, if your screen is this big and your laser projector is this bright, we will let you brand this auditorium as Infinity Vision for our releases.
Let me go back to the VIP club analogy I've been thinking about.
Okay.
It's like a high roller trying to book the ultra-exclusive VIP club for a massive party. But the club manager says, sorry, the Dune cast booked it 6 months ago. We're at capacity.
Yep.
Instead of accepting defeat, the high roller goes to the restaurant across the street, strings up some incredible laser lights, hires a better DJ, and declares, this is the new VIP section, and it's actually way more exclusive.
That is a perfect analogy. You build your own VIP section and convince everyone it's the place to be. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Endgame Encore is being used as a Trojan horse.
How so?
Marvel is using the most successful, universally beloved movie in their catalog to train audiences to love the new VIP club. They want fans to buy an Infinity Vision ticket for Encore, realize how insanely bright and clear those upgraded colors look.
Like that red light from Scarlet Witch's magic?
Yes, exactly. And accept this new format as the premium standard.
That way, when Avengers Doomsday hits those exact same Infinity Vision screens 3 months later in December, the audience doesn't even care that it's not in IMAX. They're already bought into the Infinity Vision brand.
It's an infrastructure play masquerading as a nostalgic re-release.
But to make sure people actually show up to the new VIP club right now, they have to market the absolute hell out of it. And looking at Fandango, they're going into overdrive.
Oh, big time.
They are selling this massive $49.99 Endgame Encore bundle. For $50, you get an Infinity Vision movie ticket, plus your choice of an exclusive popcorn bucket. It's either a highly detailed Iron Man helmet or the Nano Gauntlet.
Which is wild.
$50. I don't care how cool a popcorn bucket is, that is a massive financial commitment for a movie most people own on Blu-ray. Are they really hurting for cash, or is there another motive here?
Well, they know the collector's market for popcorn buckets has exploded into a wildly lucrative sub-industry. People love them.
Oh, people go crazy for them.
But you're right, there is a secondary, incredibly ambitious financial goal driving this aggressive pricing strategy. It's about a long-standing grudge match.
The box office crown.
Precisely. This goes back years. Currently, Avengers Endgame sits at $2.79 billion globally. It needs approximately $127 million to finally dethrone James Cameron's Avatar.
Which sits at $2.92 billion.
Right, as the highest-grossing film of all time.
And the history here is so petty, which I absolutely love.
It's hilarious.
Endgame actually beat Avatar back in 2019 to take the #1 spot, but then James Cameron re-released Avatar in China in 2021 and snatched the crown right back.
He did.
So this $127 million gap isn't just a number, it's a matter of immense corporate pride.
It absolutely is. Marvel wants that title back.
Yeah.
And $127 million is a massive amount of money to ask a 7-year-old movie to generate.
It is a lot.
But between a $50 ticket and bucket bundle, the inflated prices of the Infinity Vision PLF screens, and the promise of new narrative footage tying directly into Doomsday, they are pulling every single lever they have to bridge that financial gap.
Okay, so if you are charging people $50 for a bucket and a clearer picture, you really need that narrative hook to land.
Yes, you do.
You have to convince people that those 4 minutes are essential viewing. Which brings us to the rumor surrounding this new footage, because the fans are losing their minds trying to guess what it is.
The speculation on platforms like Reddit is intense, and it's largely focused on unresolved plot threads from 2019.
Like what?
Some of the most credible-sounding rumors suggest the new footage might feature a time-travel conversation between Steve Rogers and Scott Lang, set quietly during Tony Stark's funeral.
Interesting.
The idea is that this scene would finally explain the mechanics of how Steve actually returned the Infinity Stones to their exact branching timelines without causing a paradox.
See, that would be cool, but it feels a little backwards looking. I saw another rumor circulating that claims the footage shows Loki working for the Time Variance Authority, the TVA.
Right, from the Disney Plus show.
Yeah, and for anyone who hasn't watched every single show, the TVA is basically the cosmic police force that monitors timelines.
Exactly.
Since the Avengers were hopping around, stealing Infinity Stones and messing with the flow of time, it makes perfect sense that the TVA would be investigating that mess. And that investigation could be the exact thing that leads to Doctor Doom taking power.
That theory aligns perfectly with the stolen life dialogue we've heard from Doom.
Right.
But the studio's own marketing has thrown a curveball that has fans very confused.
What do they do?
Disney released an official Countdown to Doomsday watch list to help fans prepare for December.
Okay.
It includes the Loki series, the original Fox X-Men movies, and various Fantastic Four character appearances. But strangely, it completely skipped the Thor Love and Thunder.
Which is baffling to me. Thor's headspace, his grief over losing everyone in Endgame, and his adoption of a child in Love and Thunder seem deeply relevant to his character arc, going into a massive team-up movie against a threat like Doom. Why leave it off?
It is a notable omission, and it points to a larger, growing concern among critics regarding how Marvel is handling Robert Downey Jr.'s return. There is a potential messiness to this whole approach.
Tell me about it.
If Robert Downey Jr. is playing Victor Von Doom natively.
Meaning he's not a multiversal variant stealing Tony Stark's face?
Exactly, meaning he's just a completely separate guy named Doom,
Right.
who coincidentally happens to look exactly like Tony Stark.
Right.
Then leaning this heavily on Endgame nostalgia could completely backfire.
I can see that. I mean, if you pump the audience full of Tony Stark nostalgia with a 3-hour encore screening, and then a few months later, RDJ shows up on screen and the characters are supposed to act like he's a totally different person, that is going to severely confuse casual audiences.
Very much so.
They are going to be expecting Iron Man to come back.
Exactly. It risks blurring the lines between emotional resonance and corporate stunt casting.
So, what does this all mean for the casual fan? For the person who doesn't track every Reddit rumor or memorize the TVA's organizational chart, is this 4-minute bridge just helpful context, or is this unavoidable homework?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. If someone misses this $50 re-release, are they going to be completely lost when Doomsday starts in December?
This raises an important question about the current state of blockbuster cinema. It's franchise fatigue versus community event viewing.
Okay.
Marvel is acutely aware of the homework complaint. People are tired of having to watch 6 shows just to understand a movie.
It's exhausting.
They're banking on the idea that seeing Endgame isn't a chore. It's a celebration. Think about the physical reaction people had in theaters in 2019.
Oh, it was electric.
Watching Chadwick Boseman step out of those portals, hearing the crowd roar for Captain America catching Mjolnir, that is an emotional, communal experience that you cannot replicate in your living room.
No, you really can't.
The studio is betting that the communal nostalgia of revisiting those iconic moments in a packed, laser-projected theater is just as much of a draw as the new narrative setup.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's less about assigning the audience mandatory reading and more about throwing a massive reunion party before the new semester starts?
Exactly.
You don't have to go to the party to understand the classes, but you'll feel a lot more connected if you do.
Precisely. They are counting on the immense emotional weight of the original 181 minutes to carry the burden of the new 4 minutes. The bridge to Doctor Doom is the marketing hook, but the shared cultural experience of Endgame is the anchor that actually gets bodies into seats.
Okay, let's distill this deep dive. Avengers Endgame Encore is far from a lazy, opportunistic re-release.
Far from it.
It is a highly calculated, brilliantly orchestrated strategy. It serves as a visual apology for the muddy rendering of 2019 by giving us a bright, terrifying purple Thanos.
Yep.
It's a clever Trojan horse workaround to launch their proprietary Infinity Vision theaters after getting boxed out of IMAX screens by Dune.
It's very clever.
It's a billion-dollar box office play aimed squarely at taking back the crown from James Cameron's Avatar. And, maybe most importantly for the lore, it is a crucial 4-minute narrative bridge to explain why Doctor Doom is so furious with the Avengers' time travel antics.
It truly is a masterclass in modern franchise management. They are attempting to solve artistic criticisms, logistical distribution challenges, and astronomical financial goals, all with a single, highly publicized theatrical event.
It really is impressive when you lay it all out like that. But before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with one final, slightly mind-bending thought that builds on everything we've talked about today.
Ooh, I love these.
You know how Dr. Doom's anger in the upcoming movie stems from a stolen life caused by the Avengers messing with time?
Right, the consequences of the time heist.
Well, what if those 4 added minutes aren't just a traditional epilogue or a post-credit scene? What if those new minutes show Dr. Doom literally watching the events of Endgame unfold right alongside the theater audience?
Oh, that is a chilling thought. You're suggesting he's observing the timeline disruption in real time from afar.
Exactly. Let's go back to the video game DLC analogy we started with. What if the DLC doesn't just add a new cutscene at the end, but actually reveals that a new boss was standing in the shadows of the final level the entire time watching you win?
Oh, wow.
Could the Encore edition itself, this slightly brighter 185-minute version, be the actual canonical timeline where Doctor Doom first spots the Avengers? What if our nostalgic rewatch is the very spark that ignites Doomsday?
That would completely recontextualize the entire 3-hour experience. You wouldn't just be cheering for the Avengers to win. You'd be sitting there watching them unknowingly seal their own tragic fate while Doom takes notes. It turns a victory lap into a thriller.
It really does. Definitely something to think about the next time you see a portal open up on a movie screen. See you again in the next episode of this podcast.